Live from Arkansas' streaming news leader, this is THV 11 Morning News at 7 on THV 11 Plus.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here on THV 11 Plus as we get you ready to start your day. We're about an hour or so away from the start of school, work going on, and so far it's been good weather, good traffic, and a good Tuesday. So there you go.
We're about to get busy with all the things we do here, news, weather, traffic.
Yep.
We got
I tap dance.
Oh, I can't wait.
I do, very much.
You have a solo coming up.
I'd think.
That's
What
gonna
time,
be
7
great.
o'clock?
Yeah.
When will it be?
Yeah, you'd have to keep it here to find out. Yeah. I like to tap dance around things sometimes too.
Well, your mama owns a dance studio. I'd say you better tap dance
I
pretty
grew
good.
up tap dancing.
Yeah,
That's
you can do it with style. That's
Can
for
you
sure.
ask Ashley?
I can tap
bet
dance.
That is so,
Maybe I'll work it
that
into
is so
traffic
cool.
sometime.
Please do.
Sometimes.
We may not hear what you say, but it would really
That's
be
right.
unique, and we might get on YouTube or something, or
yeah.
a TV show, and ask what
Yeah, I know what I've always wanted to do. End up on Jimmy Kimmel
Fallon.
or Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Well, this is called tap dancing in the news business because we're trying to get to traffic. and
Right,
we
we're
are
tap dancing around
to
it.
left and right.
Okay, so
the
this-
final number. Go ahead.
Jazz hands. Okay, this is what's happening right now with traffic. Really, it's still looking pretty good. I mean, we're starting to see the volume really pick up around central Arkansas. Getting a look right now at Interstate 630 towards downtown Little Rock, looking at the state capitol with the sunrise behind it. It's looking beautiful this morning. And here's what we can expect on our roadways. Starting to see some slowdowns North Terminal Interchange and through Jacksonville. Let's start off with that. Very slow if you're coming through Jacksonville right now at just 19 miles per hour. They've been doing a lot of construction in this area around John Hardin. This is 57 southbound, what was 167. So just give yourself some extra time if you're coming in from Jacksonville or Cabot this morning to downtown Little Rock. We'll check that drive time in a second. This is what's happening at the North Terminal Interchange, starting to slow down on 40 westbound at the North Hills Boulevard exit and also there on 30 westbound. And it's slow here through Alexander on Interstate 30 eastbound, anywhere from really right past the Bryant exit up to about 430. Expect some slowdowns. And this is our drive times into downtown Little Rock. Still looking great if you're coming in from Conway to downtown. Benton is still slowing down just a little, and we're seeing some slowdowns there through from Cabot to downtown Little Rock too. Another check coming up in a few minutes. Tracy, what's going on with our weather?
Well, not a lot. We've got official sunrise here in a little less than 15 minutes, but it is a nice start to the day. Again, beautiful out there. A little cool, but warmer than it was yesterday. It's 36 right now. It was 29 this time yesterday. So seeing a little bit of a warm up, and we'll continue to see again a little bit of warmer temperatures this afternoon as we are looking for highs in the mid to upper 60s, even some 70s across the state today. It's going to be warm and a bit breezy today. You can see some gusts of around 20 to 25. Keep in mind that elevated fire danger is certainly an issue today and tomorrow as well. Today, hour by hour, again, a whole bunch of sunshine. We are going to top things out again in the mid 60s, and we're going to see again some gusts 20 to 25, and that sustained wind itself is going to be quite breezy out there. Rain chances do pick up for your Wednesday. I don't think we'll get much, but maybe we'll get a little bit in the overnight hours and tomorrow morning at mid-morning, but I think most of that will be in northeastern Arkansas. We'll time all of that out for you and let you know what to expect coming up in my forecast.
Tracy, thank you. New this morning, tensions with Iran are escalating. President Donald Trump is reviewing military and covert options with his national security team as Iran's violent crackdown on protests continues. CBS News reports the president has already been briefed on a range of tools. On social media Monday, he announced an immediate 25% tariff on goods from countries doing business with Iran. The pressure is mounting even as Tehran signals it wants talks. Now, overnight, China, Iran's top trading partner, pushed back, warning it will protect its interests. U.S.-based activists say hundreds have been killed and thousands jailed in protests now more than 2 weeks old.
The best way to ensure that there will be less people killed in Iran is to intervene sooner so this regime finally collapses.
Iran's foreign minister now says the country is ready for either war or negotiations with the U.S.
Also happening now, pressure is building in Washington as a Justice Department investigation involving the Federal Reserve Chair continues to draw scrutiny. The probe is raising concerns about the Fed's independence and potential ripple effects for the U.S. economy. Bradley Blackburn has the latest developments.
In the face of a DOJ investigation, Fed Chair Jerome Powell isn't mincing words.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
The statement came after the DOJ served the Fed with grand jury subpoenas last week, linked to a multi-billion-dollar Fed renovation project. The DOJ said in a statement U.S. attorneys have been told to prioritize investigating any abuse of taxpayer dollars. Powell says it's political because the Fed board hasn't lowered interest rates as fast as the president wants.
I'd love to fire his.
The president has criticized Powell for months and also accused him of wasting money on the Fed construction project.
It looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
In Washington, lawmakers on both sides raised concerns an investigation could jeopardize the Fed's independence in setting monetary policy.
We have to preserve the independence of the Fed.
The Fed has been the gold standard for that kind of monetary policy decision making, and Donald Trump is just burning that to the ground.
But Trump allies are defending the DOJ's move.
The Justice Department is not being weaponized. It was for 4 years under Biden-Harris.
The White House says President Trump did not direct the DOJ to open the investigation into Powell. Powell's term as the Fed chair is scheduled to end in May. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
A group of economic leaders, among them former Federal Reserve chairs, is pushing back. In a joint statement, they call the Justice Department's action an unprecedented prosecutorial move that threatens the Fed's independence. And that reaction is now drawing more support on Capitol Hill as Arkansas Congressman French Hill shares a statement about Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Hill says he has known Powell since their Treasury days under former President George H.W. Bush, calling him a person of integrity. He warns that pursuing criminal charges tied to Powell's testimony risks unnecessary distraction during a critical economic moment, and he's urging focus on higher wages, opportunity, and growth for the American people. Here at home, a major economic announcement for Central Arkansas this morning.
A multi-billion-dollar data center is planned for Pulaski County, bringing hundreds of jobs, massive power demand, and some community concerns.
THV 11's Tamer Knight joined us in our studio with what we know so far. Tamer?
Well, Karen and Hayden, there are plans to build a massive data center hub just outside of Little Rock, near the north side of 145th Street, close to Riceville. An investment state leaders are calling the largest in Arkansas history. But while city and state officials praise the economic impact, some residents say they're worried about what it could mean long term. The project will be built in multiple phases, starting with a $6 billion investment and could grow to more than $21 billion at full development. The data center is expected to create more than 500 full-time jobs over the next 5 years, along with hundreds doing construction. It's currently contracted with Energy Arkansas for 150 megawatts of power, enough to power about 37,000 homes. Officials say it will actually benefit ratepayers. Plus, Energy says the grid won't be overloaded and new power plants are already planned. But not everyone is celebrating.
What we've seen nationally, data centers usually use up a really big percentage of the community's electricity. And not only that, the amount of water consumption and waste of the water really hurts communities. The air quality declines and as well as the noise pollution.
You know, when you see some of the controversy that exists out there in other places, much of that is not relevant in Arkansas. And that's a credit to state and local leadership that's put regulatory framework in place to protect ratepayers and protect the general consumer.
In a statement, Sam Dubuque with Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders' office says she believes that, quote, the data centers have the opportunity to provide multi-billion-dollar investments to the Arkansas community. Now, the Arkansas Department of Energy and Environment says existing permits will hold a project to the same standard as any other major facility. Now, construction on the first phase is expected to begin in early 2026 and wraps up by June of 2027. For THV 11 News, I'm Tamer Knight.
Tamer, thank you. This morning, a major tech trade group is moving to block Arkansas's newest social media law before it even takes effect. In filings on Monday, NetChoice argues that Act 900 still forces platforms to verify every user's age, calling it an unconstitutional restriction on free speech. If the judge sides with them, the state would be barred from enforcing the rule while the case moves forward, keeping parents, schools, and platforms in the same no verification limbo that's existed since the original law was struck down last year. The state says the law is aimed at protecting kids online. A ruling could come within weeks. Starting February 1st, Arkansas prisons will no longer accept books, magazines, or other physical media sent directly to inmates, according to the Department of Corrections. Officials say the ban aims to keep contraband, including dangerous drugs like K2, out of the facilities. Inmates will still have access to books through unit libraries, donated materials, and a vetted request system. DOC leaders say technology upgrades like tablets or Kindles could eventually allow inmates to order books within reason.
South Arkansas is losing a critical resource for moms and babies. Ouachita County Medical Center in Camden is closing its OBGYN unit, citing a severe shortage of nurses and doctors with only one obstetrician remaining. CEO Glenda Harper says the unit was losing more than $50,000 a month on obstetrics. Harper says the facility now relies on a $4 million federal grant with hopes to reopen under a new rural emergency model. A new federal report names Arkansas the hungriest state in the nation, with nearly 1 in 5 people struggling to afford or access to nutritious food between 2022 and 2024. That's a jump of 15% from before the pandemic and well above the 2024 national average of 13.7. Officials and advocates say these numbers reflect real families who are skipping meals, seniors choosing between groceries or medication, and working households stretched thin. While programs like SNAP and free school breakfast aim to help, experts warn more access to food and nutrition education are needed. 7:12 now on your Tuesday. Let's go back to Ashley King and check the roads that may be getting busier now.
Yeah, definitely getting busy now that it is after 7. We're seeing some slowdowns that I want to tell you about. One of those slowdowns, is always on Interstate 30. Right now we're looking at 30 eastbound right before the 430 interchange, where it's moving along okay right here, but get closer to Alexander, we're going to show you some slowdowns there and how slowly it is moving. But let's start off with what's happening right now in Jacksonville. Because of the construction in this area, we see slowdowns from time to time, and right now only moving at 15 miles per hour on 57 southbound. Well, it was 167. So give yourself some extra time if you're coming in from Cabot or Jacksonville this morning. And this is what it looks like at the North Terminal interchange, 21 miles per hour. If you're on 30 westbound, you just came off of Interstate 40. We're also seeing some slowdowns there on Interstate 40 right before the interchange. Here at the North Hills Boulevard area, it is moving just at 31 miles per hour. Also slow if you're on 30 eastbound. Like I said, we were looking at this area and it's moving okay the closer you get to Interstate 430, but through Alexander slowing down right before you get to Alexander at 24 miles per hour. Drive times into downtown Little Rock are starting to increase, especially if you're coming in from Cabot because of those big slowdowns that we're seeing going through Jacksonville. It's going to take you 24 minutes to get to downtown Little Rock from the Highway 5 exit. Tracy, things are looking okay, no accidents, but we definitely want to give ourselves some extra time to get to our destination.
That's right, and don't look too much at this beautiful sunrise. Pay attention this morning on the roads. It is a gorgeous start to the day. We've got temperatures right around 36, a little breeze out there, westerly, southwesterly, around 5 miles per hour. Continuing to see that nice warm up today. Now we are looking for a frontal boundary to push through overnight tonight, and that will give us a chance for a little rain in the overnight hours and also maybe mid-morning tomorrow. Very, very light here for central Arkansas. Most of that will stay off to the northeast. Now, those rain chances, they are really kind of slim to none as we're heading into the rest of the week. We do see, again, the best potential for that rain pushing through overnight here in this area, which they're under that severe drought criteria. Now, we need it all across the state for sure. That fire danger is elevated today and tomorrow. We're going to see very windy conditions, gusting 20 to 25, but tomorrow could be even more so. Again, dry weather is going to make this a bit dangerous. So no open flames, no burning at this time if you can. Only a few counties under those burn bans, but the entire state is under that moderate risk for wildfire danger.